Come on, bro. What are you taking so long? You're live. Yep. W. Yo, what up, my beautiful boys? So, let's just start playing. So, peak existence, bro. Peak exist. How are you low? Did it not charge, bro? So, no, the cable wasn't plugged in properly. Jesus. So I put my controller to charge yesterday on almost for 5 hours and it didn't charge at all. Oh my god. Well, it is what it is. Currently live ping on my Discord. There it is. So it's 7:38 in the morning here, bro. 7:38 in the morning, bro. I woke up. First thing I wanted to do, play Bloodborne. So I brushed my teeth, ate. Here we are. Bloodborne. Damn. I love this video game. So, what I want to do is I want to play not with a saw cleaver. I want to finish this playthrough with the saw spear. Right? So let's find out how to. Saw spear location. Let's go.
What's going on YouTube? It's Dinner 101 here, and welcome to another Bloodborne guide. This one is how to get the Saw Spear. Kind of like a saw creator, but it's a spear instead of a cleaver, obviously. You just want to follow this route. It's in the first little world coming from the Hunter's Dream.
God, this guy, United Gamer, such good tutorials.
Maybe past it. It's not really too, hard to see, but once you make it to this area, you're gonna have two guys that you can knock down and get items. You can just drop below and get them, but one of those is the Bloodstone shards, and the other one's the actual weapon. So just go ahead and make your way.
Okay. I figured it out. So on the previous live stream, I beat the entire game, and now I'm on Cathedral World. Yeah, but right now I'm gonna beat the game again. I wanna use Saw Spear. So I saw this video and it inspired me basically. I wanna use every single different weapon on my playthroughs. So let me just do that. Let me go straight. I like you are so funny, bro. Damn. Okay. Excuse me, let's go. Damn, bro, I sneezed so hard, bro. It hurt me a little bit. Oh. I got it. Nice. You troglodyte. Nice. I got a saw spear. That was easy. So what do I need? Twin bloodstone shards, 3. Twin bloodstone shards, 3. Let me put on a video while I'm doing this. Okay.
Has the Labubu obsession grown too far?
What the fuck, bro?
We gotta get our heads out of our asses, please. This is nuts. Yeah, we have some.
What the fuck? What?
So this
I mean, like, I'm happy for her if she's enjoying the
We've got to bring back
teddy bear
slavery
that
fast.
What the
We gotta do
fuck,
something about
bro?
this. There's too much people with money. They don't know what to do with it. We gotta do something, okay? I don't know. Does anybody else have a better option? What the fuck is this?
is a Labubu doll, and it is just the latest viral collector trend to take over the world. This cute and slightly scary looking doll is in the hands of celebrities. It's getting unboxed online from millions of viewers, and it has now made the creator of this business a billionaire. But while
Oh my god.
this is objectively impressive, of course, it is not exactly a unique story anymore. Just a few months ago, we had people stampeding Targets to get Stanley water bottles.
We haven't had people. It's
True.
the same group of people every single time. Everybody knows this.
influencers spending millions of dollars on Pokemon cards, and you
Yes.
can probably think of a few dozen other examples of things that people collect. But it just seems that this trend of collecting is getting faster and faster. The old
I
collector
think
culture was just
this is going to be maybe a really hot take, but I think collecting things is like almost a mental disorder.
Yeah, I also agree. But I'm fine.
I
with
think it's
people doing it.
weird.
Yeah. Yes,
Like
we're
buying all of the consumer products of a certain type. I just like, I mean, when I was a little kid, right, I wanted to have like Mario figurines and stuff like that, but I was like 9. Like now, I people make collections of stuff, and I'm like, why do you? What are you doing? What? I guess, and look, look, and I can say this, but look at my mount collection. But the thing is, I'm not doing that anymore, and I can look back and be like, oh, that was fun, but it was dumb. Like,
True.
damn, man. Fills the void, I guess. No, this is This is collecting socially acceptable hoarding.
Bro,
organizing baseball cards
It's
for
worse.
kind of.
coins or something in your basement. And now we have people literally
Collecting coins is different because people do this as appreciating assets. If you are collecting things in order to, you know, hold on to them so they will appreciate in value, that is a different issue
It's still
than people
hoarding.
that are just collecting Funko Pops
Because
or
in their
Labubus.
minds, it's still appreciating in value.
I thought the guy saying Labubu was like, he just made up a funny name for bullshit. I didn't know this was a real thing.
throwing hands outside of stores to get their hands on a plastic doll.
happens all
and not like young kids, you know, at the playground throwing hands, like grown adults exchanging fists. And
They
all
just do that because they're scalpers and they want to sell them online. I mean, it's just like them selling anything. So.
this is happening while climate change destroys the planet. We set new records for loneliness, financial instability, and general dissatisfaction
Oh,
with how
no.
life is going.
Bro, I don't have the
Here's
weapons
the thing
leveled
is that
up,
I don't know if
you
he's
know.
going to cover this or not, but it's a well-established phenomenon that a lot of people in times of financial and emotional distress and turmoil end up spending more money on stupid bullshit. They do. They spend more money on it then during a recession.
A coincidence? Absolutely
Spin
fucking not.
How will Labubu
Jesus,
So
bro,
a few
skip this
months
shit.
ago, I watched a video from our friends over at Answer in Progress about this doll. And the only thing I could think of was those bloody Stanley water bottles. Like, I know that one is a water bottle the size of your head and the other is a kid's toy that's giving some real, like, Chucky vibes, I guess. But
They're the exact same. They're stupid collector's items for people that have more money than sense to collect because they have nothing other than that in their lives. They're just stupid little things for people to do.
feeling around these two trends
Let me
feels
change
the
my
same.
photo.
And I would know because on this channel, we have covered a lot of the biggest consumer trends that happen.
I like this guy already. I'm gonna subscribe to him. I like this guy. He's an asshole and he thinks this stuff is stupid, just like I do.
Last 4 years, you may have seen some of them.
Yeah,
if you're
I like
a subscriber to this channel. So I think we can probably say confidently
True.
that the interesting collecting stuff is not
bro, and
going away anytime soon. But now I'm going to give you my sort of personal perspective on this subject as an anti-collector. I have made it my pride and joy in my my life to not really collect stuff. The only thing that comes even remotely close to that is a collection of pottery that is in our house, but really that is all led by my wife. And one of the only ways that we've really been able to justify owning an absurd number of mugs is because we use them on a daily basis. They are a practical object for us. And that's actually
exactly. Like, I collect money. That's one of the things that I like collecting. Yeah, other than that, what else do I collect? Yeah, I like collecting money. That's about it.
Bro, he's bro.
My
He's
wife
bro from
just looked at
Jerusalem.
me and then whispered the words Beanie Babies because as she rightfully points out, and I suppose I should come clean on, I did collect Beanie Babies as a kid.
Yes, whenever you were 9. We all did, because we were 9. Of course, I remember the golden age before 9/11, okay? Before the Twin Towers, the year is 1999 or 2000, and McDonald's is doing a Happy Meal collaboration
1 billion
with
years
Beanie
ago.
Baby. My mom and I are going to McDonald's. It's on Fox News prime time that the new Beanie Babies at McDonald's are out, and we're going there to get them. Okay, you guys don't even realize how much we've lost. 9/11 was like a fucking, it was a bigger timeline altering event than, dare I say it, Harambe. It was even bigger than that. If you can imagine that, there's some younger people in here. We lived in a totally different world before 9/11. And yes, we collected Beanie Babies because we were 9.
And that is embarrassing. That is embarrassing.
We were 9.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So we did find an article that was written by an actual professor on the subject, and he seems to know what he's talking about. And he gathered 3 basic reasons as to why we collect stuff as a society. Institutional collecting and the associated appropriation of culture, which I interpreted as the way that we preserve history and culture.
I think that's a structural thing, the way that museums are. He's making a cultural critique, not an individual one. That makes sense. Obviously, we should try to critique and collect and keep artworks, obviously.
Typically at like an institutional level, like a museum.
Yeah,
the
of course.
particularities of the wealthy collector market. So this is like using it as a wealth tool, buying and trading.
People
stuff.
diversify assets and they put their value in fine art, things like that. Yeah, he's totally right about this.
Stuff, right? Like think about art and whatnot. And then the
and of course nowadays they do it. Oh, Furbies, we love that.
Individual collector as a psychological oddity, which is all to say that some
The individual collector is a psychological oddity. That is the much more politically correct way of saying exactly what I say.
That's precisely how I started out. Oh, protege of Master Leg. So, why not? Oh, take this.
Thank you.
Beast hunting. There must be. Go. I bid you for me.
Thank you. W.
people are just weird and like weird stuff, I guess. That's my favorite category. So he elaborates on this a lot more in the full article. But basically what he's saying is that a collection can be a means of accumulating wealth, of retaining some sort of cultural tradition, or a connection to a community that you find interesting. A full manifestation of the collector culture is one that does all three of those things.
Of course.
Now, this made a lot of sense to me, but I was also not surprised to learn that collections became a lot more popular after the advent of the internet. Because of course,
because it made people more mentally ill.
True.
Yeah, that tracks. I believe that. I don't need any evidence for that. I believe it.
I just
everything
love
else.
this guy, bro.
Internet took something that humans have always
don't need
done
any
and just made
evidence
it
for that.
faster and more problematic.
Yeah.
Today, more and more people are collecting, and they're collecting more and
there
more
any item
things.
here?
And
They sure
this is most common, particularly
it.
amongst younger generations. As a
they're mentally
millennial
ill.
here, I have to clarify that younger generations means like Gen Zs, which
Yeah,
are like
sure.
people that are just coming out of high school now,
26,
or kind of like
27.
in university,
Like,
not
yeah.
like young people, like kids, because this is actually not a story about kids collecting toys. It's about adults collecting toys.
Yeah, see, this is the fucking, this right here, bro.
Nah, he's doing him dirty, bro. He's pulling up his hairline.
That's the way I feel. You need to stop. This is enough. That's literally you if you shave your head. I know that, but I'm not unboxing dolls.
Yet.
That's the difference.
Yet.
But more importantly, the act of collecting has changed a lot. Collecting used to happen over the course of your lifetime. If you happened to find
Yeah,
something
of
that you
course.
liked or you were really interested in it, you would buy it. And you'd maybe hit some garage sales now and then for a specific thing that you had in
I don't
mind.
even-
Creating a collection was an
I
organic
do not do this.
process. One that
You
you
have a
called
collection of vacuum cleaners. That, you remember what I was talking about, like the 2% of people that like could be institutionalized? If you own more than 23 vacuum cleaners, you
true.
are you're going to an we're gonna put you you're going somewhere
God, I
else
like this guy.
immediately right now. Like, get your shit.
cultivated over years
it.
of having this one weird little niche interest.
Yeah.
This is like the original treasure hunt experience that modern consumerism tries to replicate
And
today.
that's the problem, though, right? Is the treasure hunt experience doesn't exist anymore because it's all fabricated and totally fake. Like whenever whenever Goku's collecting the Dragon Balls, he's doing it so he can bring somebody back to life. When somebody's collecting all of the pieces of I don't know, some scroll that was destroyed in the burning of the Library of Alexandria, he's doing it for a reason. There's a purpose for it, right? But like, yeah, but there's no purpose for this. This is just it. What I find to be so soulless about modern day collecting is that I think that collecting things becomes kind of interesting whenever it's something that wasn't meant to be a collectible. But you're doing this and it's meant for. It's like they're saying, hey, does anybody have a mental disorder? You do?
I
Do you
didn't even
have
kill any
$50?
beasts, bro.
Okay, give it to me. That's it. Yeah, you never even play with them. Yeah, it's weird. Magic the Gathering? Yes, but Magic, at least there's a function that you use the cards for, right? You can play with the cards.
But now this emotional attachment is kind of gone.
What about coin collectors? Collecting for investment purposes is totally normal. I am talking about weirdos that collect stupid, annoying,
True.
modern day trend items just because they're
Like
compulsive.
Berserker books. Like
That's
me.
what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, the guy that leads one of the cartels in South America who's collecting all of the fine art from some European painter, okay? That guy's based, minus maybe the beheadings. But besides that, that's based. But the problem is doing it with these stupid little fucking Funko Pops. Or it's like Funko Pops are boring now, and now they're doing Labubu's. This sounds like something that you give a toddler. Oh wait, it is.
because you
I
can
feel
just
like such a fucking asshole. I'm actually becoming an old asshole. I'm 25.
True.
How is this happening?
buy
Sure.
everything that you ever wanted online instead.
20,
But before we get
35,
into that, I just wanted to mention, and I don't think we've ever said this on this channel before, but we don't use any AI
35.
in the creations of these videos or the writing
Yeah.
of this script. Like, we don't use ChatGPT. Every article that we bring up
I'm
has been
AI.
searched by either myself or Lou, who's the producer for this channel. And we put our sources into a document that is always linked at the bottom of these videos. So if you want to see where
Damn,
we're getting
that's
our
so good.
information from, you can always check that out. It is in the description right
That's
now,
pretty badass.
along with some other links that you might find interesting.
That's impressive.
But back to Labubu. This is, I think, quite literally a product of our internet-dependent culture.
Yeah.
Just like in the past, collecting cards or coins or whatever was a way for you to connect with other people who also collect cards.
Yep.
Or a way for you to hold on to fond memories of the past when you
Like,
yourself...
I used to collect magic cards, but I didn't collect them. I just simply bought them from people so I could sell them for more money. Like, it wasn't
Damn.
really, this is like an asset transfer. It's not like I have to get all of these items.
played baseball or whatever. But the internet has changed fundamentally.
Pop Mart Mega Space Molly San Reno Carrot Pop Mart Mega Labubu Sketch $1,000.
One part of the collecting experience,
Damn.
and that is the resale market. Because according to our academic friend we referenced earlier, in the past, people who collected stuff
The
would
thing is that anybody who thinks that they're gonna make money in a resale market is a retard. You're just a fucking retard. Like, yes, obviously sometimes people get lucky, but in a general sense, the people that actually understand how to take advantage of a resale market, like, so did you know that you can actually 3D and through some sort of imaging, I don't know how exactly, figure out which cards are in a pack of cards before you open up the pack? Like, the guys that you're competing against, you're not gonna make any money in this situation unless you just happen to get lucky. It's weight, MRI. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's plenty of things too, and there's also imaging. They fixed that. Yeah, but it's always gonna be it's a cat and mouse game, and they can also do this with. I guarantee you, they can do this with these back.
generally thought of as mildly disturbed cranks who have an inexplicable need to gather large numbers of items few others deem interesting.
That's right.
Basically, they were fucking nerds. But today, that has completely changed.
Turn the video
whole
game
concept
volume
of
down.
flipping or reselling is like a side hustle that
It
you can
is.
find all kinds of content online about how to get yourself started.
Yep.
Nowadays, collectors' items are not being bought by collectors; they're being bought by
Fancy.
investors and traders looking
Which,
to
by the way, Logan Paul's investment into this Pokemon card probably made about as much money as his investment in the Crypto Zoo. That's it. This shit, nobody's gonna buy this shit. Nobody cares about this. Maybe you're gonna make 80% of your money back.
make a quick buck off of somebody else's perceived value of those things, who, for the most part,
It's a
end up being
Charizard.
other traders and investors. And while this has always been a thing, the internet has really just rocket launched this into a viable financial
You just
resource.
admitted you were a trader? Yes, I was, and I memorized the price of every single Magic the Gathering card, and I knew how much they were specifically, and I would never buy the packs in order to make the money. I would buy the cards specifically wholesale from people at my school because they didn't have the prices memorized for every single item, and I did. That's why I have a bunch of fucking, like, original, not Black Lotus, like Lotus Petals, Double Lands, and fucking original Swords to Plowshares. I have all of those. The reason why is because I knew what they were and they didn't, because they were the retards buying the packs and I was the person who knew what the cards were. I said this before, super smart. It's not really, I just memorized the prices of some cards. It's not fucking complicated.
hurts for some people. The whole concept of
It's not like you
NFTs
have to be a wizard to
is this
memorize
exact
a
idea
price of a card.
taken to the absolute extreme. We considered making a video about NFTs, but it feels like the market has already died.
98% of NFTs are dead. There's no way it's that low. Only 0.2% have returned profits to investors. Wow.
I
Who could
died.
have predicted this? Besides everyone.
Something we're not really that up to speed with those things, so we didn't make it. But if you do want us to make a retrospective video about the
Jesus
death of
Christ,
NFTs or something,
I
let us know.
want to
Maybe
switch my
It was,
weapon.
that,
now.
it was that Seth Green TV show. That's what killed it. I said it at the time. Nobody believed me, and it was right.
could go down that rabbit hole.
This is your
mine.
ape. Are we
Yeah,
debuting
it's
it?
really cool.
Oh my
Oh
God.
my god, bro. Fucking
We will never
NFTs.
recover from COVID.
Nope.
I thought it would be 5 years, and it's been 5 years.
Mental illness is
People think it will be 10 years. I think it will be never.
Me neither.
But Labubu is like the full manifestation.
It's really cool.
That's your ape? That's my ape. God. It's mine now. It was that easy. I just stole it. Oh my God.
But Labubu is like the full manifestation of
Yeah.
all the tools that companies can use to manipulate you into buying something that you don't need. And it is honestly kind of impressive. The UK has recently had to stop selling these things entirely because people were assaulting each other trying to get one. And it
W's in the chat for assault.
Again, this is so. Remember when I was talking about how I wanted to put a lot of people in jail? This is one of the groups of people. Like anybody who's getting in a fight over scalping collector items to sell to, bored middle-aged women, you go to jail. You go to jail for that. Nope, no more.
represents a
enough.
broader fever around
Yep,
these
we've had
things that
enough.
I think is kind of wild. Fans have been cited saying resellers ruin everything, insinuating that the resale culture around these dolls is a main reason why they're constantly selling out, which is in turn angering crowds. And at first I was kind of like, come on, man, like, is this really that big of a deal?
It's
but
true.
apparently,
Yeah, it is.
people are buying out these
These
toys.
two guys bought all 10 and then started to resell them at the machine. This is 100% what I would do too. Absolutely fucking based. 100% based.
At Pop Mart vending machines and then just reselling them
Did you
back
ever own a Furby? I was born in the year 1990. Of course I owned a Furby.
to the people in line behind them. And on top of this, the resale market has actually gotten so crazy that Lafufus, fake Labubus, are being sold to
Oh my god. They're that knockoff Labu. What is this is the kind of stuff that like you buy your kid if you want your kid to know that you don't actually love them. It's like you have like one kid and like for whatever reason you don't like him, you buy him one of those. Everybody else gets a Labubu, he gets a Lafufu.
people who are on the hunt for one of these specific pieces. And as Sabrina talks about in their video, even without all the added drama, the experience of buying one of these toys is genuinely something else. If you haven't seen her video, you should definitely go.
It's just what's in the box. You open the box and you buy, and this is the thing, is that my mom did this. She was really into collecting. You know what she liked collecting? Everything. That's right. So, and she would do this on Amazon with my money. And she, yep, and I gave her my card. I said, hey, my stream does really well. Have fun. And I don't regret a single cent. It was money well spent in my mind. However, holy shit, what the fuck am I gonna do with all this stuff? Oh my god. And so anyway, she would buy things off of Amazon, and by the time they arrived, she'd forget what they were. So it's like every 3 days was like a new like mini Christmas event. Oh, what's in this? Oh, yeah, I remember this. I ordered this a while ago.
Wow.
Really? It was insane. And then I had my girlfriend living here at the time, my ex-girlfriend living here at the time, and she's also ordering a bunch of bullshit. Every day I would open the fucking door, there'd be 5 packages from Amazon. And I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? What are you doing? You're buying all of this shit. Oh my God.
But what she is experiencing is a new kind of marketing that is becoming increasingly common within the collectibles world specifically. These Labubu toys come in boxes, and the boxes themselves don't actually tell you what's inside them. They tell you the odds for each toy that might be in the box, and this is known as
The
a
odds for the toy, of course. How convenient. Yes, how massively and amazingly convenient.
blind box. See, this is just another layer on top of the tried and true playbook of psychological tricks to get people to buy stuff, right?
No,
The
no, no,
limited
no, no.
colors and
Fuck.
special editions that we saw from water bottles, the collaborations with other big record
I mean, if somebody likes the thing and they want to get like, the problem isn't like just buying one of them and thinking it's cool, right? I mean, I have this, right? I bought this. Do I need this? Yes, but really no. And so, like, but I thought it was nice, but I don't have like 50 of them, right? There's just one. That's it. I bought one, and then I have this one a girl gave to me. This one I got from Elden Ring. And to be fair, I did also buy. I did buy.
What the
All
fuck
right, I
am I
bought
hearing?
2 of them. I bought 2 of them over the past 20 years. Okay, I think I've got a really good ratio.
Was that my PlayStation?
That's it.
Jesus.
You kept it? Yes, I kept it. If I threw it away, she would have got mad. Yeah, I don't want to deal with that.
True.
Visible companies that Crumble was famous for, and these big announcements of an impending drop to build anticipation and excitement from shoppers
one
that
per
we see from the
decade.
fashion world. And this latest feature is pretty well gambling.
It is.
So the idea of a blind box, a product that you
Yeah.
buy without actually knowing the contents, is not totally novel
No.
either, of course, but it is easy to see why these things are so popular. There is something truly thrilling about not knowing what you're gonna get.
Not to me. Because that's what happens to me whenever I go to Taco Bell. I never like that. That shit pisses me off. Anytime I go there,
That's why I love
yeah,
those things that you
I
just
feel
like those screens.
Honestly, I go to Taco Bell. I don't know what I'm gonna get more than if I buy a fucking pack of cards. And don't even get me started on Arby's. You know what happened last time I tried to go to Arby's? I got in a wreck.
I'll be happy with any of them except that fuck-ass Christmas tree. I don't like that one.
Please, please, please get the Christmas tree. Please get the Christmas tree.
All the other ones I think are very cute.
Wanting a particular
Was that the... Wait, hold up.
Oh my god. Yeah, I love this too.
Fuck-ass Christmas tree. I don't like that one. All the other ones I think are very cute.
There's a star. Okay, that's funny.
wanting a particular
I give you that. That's funny.
character from a set and just not being sure whether or not this is going to be the one. The unboxing experience becomes something special and exciting for people, right?
Oh my god, bro. Like, this guy, by the way, bro, you don't give a fuck about this. You don't give a fuck about this. You're just trying to farm these girls. You're trying. I see you. You're wearing nail polish. Like, bro. You're grinding so hard to farm these girls. You need to stop, man. You have to stop. This is too much.
Because you want something, and now you have this moment of sort of limbo where you get.
Don't tell me she's doing this shit. You know what I should do? I should buy 10 of these and then set them on fire. The end of the it's an unboxing stream, and at the end of it, I set them on fire. That sounds like how much are these? How much is a Labubu? No. No, it's more than No, it's beating out Lamborghini?
What the fuck?
Are you doing? I just okay. All right. How much is a Labubu? So where is it on Pop Mart? So no. How much are them? How much? $250 fucking dollars?
Damn.
This is ridiculous.
True.
They're $27, but they're sold out. I think I should do this. I should do a Labubu box opening stream, and I shouldn't even look up. Maybe I could have somebody that knows it react to it and tell me how much they're worth, and then at the end of it, I just burn them all, no matter what. I think I need to do more than 10 though. I think 30 would be a good idea. So if each one's $20, you said $27, so like scalping's probably 40, right?
Idea.
Like realistically. So you've got $40 and I do 30 of them. How much is that? It's 1,200. I would do that. Yeah, I would do that for sure.
To experience
this is one of the best ideas I've ever
exhalation
had.
and the exhalation.
Especially after I see all the I have to do this. I have to do I need to, no, I'm gonna do this.
W.
Let me see. Can I burn them in my house? Can I start a plastic fire in my house? I don't see. Is that okay? Is it illegal to do that? I know it's not good for you, but is it illegal to do that? Yes, you can start a fire in your house. Specific rules, regulations, outdoor fires, recreational fires, campfires. I have to do it. I still have to. I know. I have an old barrel that we took it out of the woods. There was a junkyard. We stole it out of the junkyard. I still have it. We just put them in those and light them up. No, I actually, yeah, I'd still do it because there's a dead patch of grass in the middle of my yard. I could do it. No, yeah. I have to start. I have to figure out how to do IRL stream and do that. You should shred them. Oh, that'd be a good idea. I could find like different ways to destroy them. Either way, I think we're gonna do that. Like I'm gonna maybe order these in like a few days.
That's maybe not the right word.
She's got.
Now we unboxed one of these things
real quick. She got a whole box. You got a whole box. That's a whole ass. Oh my god.
The right word. Now we unboxed one of these things on our Patreon podcast just to get a sense of what it was like, and even though we're not particularly emotionally invested in the outcome, it was still pretty fun.
Which one's this guy? We got Peepo.
Peepo, let's go. Peepo represent.
Peepo, the Monsters Classic series, sells for $56 on eBay. So we may be getting a almost double our investment on this.
It's listed for $56. That's all. It's not selling for $56. It's listed.
Kind of like those guys that put their GPUs for an insanely amount of money on secondhand, just in case somebody buys them and they just buy a new
lottery
one.
ticket, you actually have something to show for it at the end, regardless of whether or
People
not
have something to show for lottery tickets at the end too. Oh, I was gonna make a suicide joke. Let's not.
it's the one that you wanted. But imagine if you were really invested in a particular outcome. You have an idea of a particular toy that you're excited about. Suddenly this unboxing experience can be like a highlight of your week or month or year.
I was gonna say a blood splatter.
Even.
We're going back in. We're going back inside. What are the odds that I get the same one twice, right? It's gonna be fine.
Nope. F32 inside.
didn't say
don't
that.
want to lose it.
And this stuff is popping up everywhere. We found an article for the 25.
Okay, that's funny though. right? Yeah, that's really, really funny. You see GameStop PSA graded partnership? I did see that. Yeah, she mad.
I've best blind box gifts that you can buy a person. I didn't even know that there was that many blind boxes out there. And it turns out that there is a lot of different blind boxes. Like,
wait, what? So I have to figure out which ones to buy? Well, I should probably buy 3 different styles. I should buy 10 of 3, right? I should buy like the basic one and then the more expensive one, and then I should find the most expensive one. I should buy 10 of those.
baby cactus blind boxes and capybara, little pig.
Wait, there's a lot more of these?
Blind boxes and unicorns, and then like the further we went along on this, I sort of realized that blind box is just one word for it, but there's also other words for this, right? Like mystery boxes are the same thing, but sort of catered to a more male audience, maybe. We found one.
Yeah, but that's also like, I mean, I think all of these are silly. I do. I think they're all silly. I do the same thing with like my P.O. box stuff, but like that's like a community thing. And it's like, is this one a bomb? Let's find out. And so anyway, yeah, garbage groups, it's so silly. And 800, how much is this? $800 mystery box? The only mystery is why the fuck you'd buy it.
For the UFC of all things. The basic idea is to sell people a collection of products or a single product that is exclusive in some way because you don't quite know what it is yet.
Yeah.
And it is definitely working.
It is.
Just because something is addictive.
The reason why it's working is because millennials have there's something wrong with them.
Well-designed or fun
and stupid
to engage with. Doesn't necessarily mean that.
Can you imagine what's going to happen with the kids that have had their brains destroyed by galaxy gas or are old enough to have a job and to, like, you know, well, I don't know about graduate college, right? But like old enough to like work somewhere and have like disposable income? That's going to be scary.
Successful. A huge factor of why these things have gone so widespread is because of the cultural landscape that they've been introduced to. 10, 15, 20 years ago, this might not have hit as hard as it did today because shit is pretty fucked up right now, if you haven't noticed. And people...
I think most things are okay. I do. I think that the media portrays this, and this is, this is gonna be a little bit of a fucking thing, right? But I think the media and the entire apparatus of corporate America, consumerism, and everything, and this rabid obsession with like items and objects and things like this stuff, I think that it's like a fucking sickness. And so you have the media that's pushing people into this like constant state of paranoia, turmoil, and, you know, frantic behavior. And then on top of that, you have these companies that are taking advantage of it because these people are so hysterical because they think that at any moment Donald Trump is going to come and arrest them for being, you know, they're like their ancestry is from a South American country, so they're going to arrest them. And it's just, it's so... just fucking, it's so pathetic, bro. It's so fucking pathetic, and I hate this so much. And like, this is one of the things, like they wanted me, I'll tell you, I'm not gonna get into it, right? But people wanted me to like make little figurines and stuff. You want to know one of the reasons why I don't like make a lot of merch or like figurines or bullshit like this? It's because I think it's fucking stupid. That's the reason why.
Well,
that's it. It's just fucking stupid.
Can you die already, bro?
Literally, that's the beginning, middle, and end. They look cute? No, that's just not me, bro. Like, it's not fucking me. All right? It's not.
Are buying these toys as an escape from reality. Fellow YouTuber Shauna Rapari actually has a great video all about how self-help language is being used to promote overconsumption. And it really applies to these collections.
Oh my god. Self-help stuff is being used to promote overconsumption? We are becoming so dangerously close to becoming based. I am so happy. I know it'll never happen, but I can at least imagine.
True.
Yes, true. Would you prevent someone from making them? No.
Grown adults are justifying buying children's toys to heal their inner child. But the
I mean, like,
you farewell.
this is so stupid, bro, Labubu. And like, I mean, sure, if it makes people happy, I'd be like, yeah, sure, go ahead. But I feel like people just don't know what the fuck to do. It's like, bro, if you wanna have like something niche about you, something like whatever, like, I don't know, like do something that is niche nowadays, like, I don't know, paint or something, or like learn an instrument. Like, imagine how quirky and unique you would be if you knew how to play the harp. You know, it's like W. You know how to play the harp, and that's about. You know what I mean? It's like people just don't know what to do, bro. To be special, I feel like that's the problem. I need one more bloodstone chunk.
Heal your inner child. Oh yeah, from the therapy people. Oh wow. Oh.
True.
about healing your inner child is that it requires real introspection and like a lot of work to fix that trauma. And buying a novelty toy that you weren't able to buy yourself as a child might feel good for a minute, but it's not going to fix your problem. Hence the need.
No, that's all right. Like if there's something you grew up and you always wanted and you get older and you buy it, then great. Good for you, man. That's awesome. But here's where the problem is. The problem is that you don't need 17 of them. You don't need 35 of them. Just get the thing that you want and then move on.
To constantly go out and buy more of them. But it's not just childhood trauma. The demographic that is really into this stuff most is the anxious generation, right? There's literally a book about them that's called that. And this is a lot.
That's exactly right, because they're being fucking psyoped into being mentally ill.
A lot of people today, a bunch of people who are constantly online, which makes you feel disconnected and lonely. And these toys bring you this like fleeting, exhilarating feeling that we don't get a lot.
Can you imagine explaining to one of our ancestors? It's like, oh yeah, so why are you anxious? Oh, I'm afraid to talk to women. I'm afraid to talk. Like, I know this is a real sad situation and it's a reality for lots of people, but still, I like, it's interesting to laugh at the outrageousness of it if you think about it. Like how can I put this? If you think about it in like a grand scheme of things compared to other existential problems that we have as a human species, it's like, oh, you're not afraid of the bear or something, or especially ladies nowadays are not afraid of the bear. They even prefer the bear, but I'm kidding, by the way. But you know what I mean. It's weird. Anxious.
Makes them forget that their life sucks.
A lot of people today are chronically online, which leads them to be disconnected from their communities and lonely. These toys bring this fleeting but exhilarating feeling of relief from both of those
daily average. Bro, this woman's on her phone for 9 hours. Let me see what mine says. Where does it say? Fucking, about the phone. Is it accessibility? Screen time. 2 hours. Yeah, I was on the phone 2 hours.
I mean, mine, I use it as a camera, so I don't know, it, like...
That's about it. That's my job, too. That's the difference. Yeah.
The thrill of perhaps winning the version that you...
PC? I was probably only on my PC yesterday for like 3 hours. Besides my stream. I played Night Rain and I died to the hard mode Gaping Maw. And I went to bed mad. Like a failure. A fucking piece of shit. I shouldn't even be alive at this point. I literally hate myself.
W.
Been wanting, or that is
Easiest one?
actually
No,
worth
it's not. It's not easy. He's a dick sucker.
more than what you bought, and this symbolic.
Look at this.
Oh,
Look
I
at this.
hate
look
these.
Look at this, bro. Like. It's just too much, man. It's too much. And we've passed the point of this being like it's not just it's like it's everything, right? I mean, she's got other little bits of bullshit behind it. It's just everything.
To a whole bunch of other people online who like
this.
These fuzzy little guys. They are kind of fuzzy. I think they're all fuzzy. The one that we got was like this weird little star shape.
I'm gonna be honest, this one sucks. This sucks. You got scammed. That looks like a Christmas ornament from like Germany in the 1800s, where their idea of how to tell stories to kids is how to scare them with Krampus. No, absolutely fucking not.
I didn't know which one to get, but this one said classic on it, and so I thought it was kind of like the original Labubu doll. Turns out this is just like the Christmas collection that I bought in May.
And sadly, this is just another
It actually is an ornament.
Story of a hobby that has been depersonalized and corporatized by influencers and pop stars. Most people agree that Labubu's popularity stems from K-pop star Lisa, featuring it so heavily in interviews and social media and paparazzi and whatnot. And we've seen this before.
So
the recent
cringe.
surge in popularity of Pokemon cards, especially.
I will never get the
I
K-pop
did
stuff.
this. I did this because I was in the org, and Ms. Kiff and Nick just wanted to spend all this money. I remember we had conversations, and they were like, is it really worth $20,000 to buy a box of Pokemon cards? And everybody was like, yes, it's worth the money. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, yeah, obviously, like, we can make money off this stream, but holy fuck, what are we doing? Didn't Soda set one on fire? He did. He did. This is insane. I can't believe. I never did it. I never did that shit.
Pandemic can be partly attributed to Logan Paul and other influencers who were just spending millions of dollars to try and get
the amount of money that Ms. Kiff and Nick spent on this is too much money. I will just say that. They spent too much money on it.
these super exclusive cards. But I also, like, I don't want you to walk away from this video thinking that you can't spend your money on something silly like a toy, right? Or that it's wrong.
You do whatever you want to do. It's your life and your money. But if you're compulsively buying these shitty troll dolls over and over and spurging out whenever you get one that's worth more than $30, I'm gonna think that you're an idiot. And I understand that people will say that's what you do with gacha games. Like, yes, that's true. It absolutely is true. But here's what the difference is that whenever I'm off stream, I'm not I do it for content, right? But like, I can't imagine doing this legitimately.
To buy an item that you intend to preserve in its original state. We're not going to try and cancel the 5,000-year-old industry of art collecting, for example. But this boom in collectors feels hollow because it's not necessarily resulting in more collector communities.
No.
Like these
it's the same people doing it, and they view collecting as basically asset. They view collecting as just collecting assets. That's all. They're asset collection. That's all.
Collections weren't just supposed to be traded online
Did
for
you pull
money.
for Frolova? Not yet, but I will.
They were supposed to be shared at car shows and card swaps and conventions. But if you are a collector, please let us know in the comments if this kind of thing is happening, because we did try and find answers for that question and we couldn't really find it because, as we said, there's not a lot of studies on collector culture for some reason. So
because they don't want people to know. They don't want people to know that anybody that's doing this shit's crazy, bro. Like, I just honestly, I think that we need maybe another war. Maybe we need a plague.
Comment down below if you are a part of a collector community that you think is genuinely popping off and is maybe doing better than ever because of the internet, because it's easy to find only negative stories on these sorts of subjects, and we appreciate nuance here on this channel just like you do. So make sure if you like what you're seeing, you're liking the videos, and if you
I love this guy. I do. I think this guy's fucking amazing. Give me 1 second. There's somebody sent me a video of something that's very upsetting. Before we go to it, I want to link you guys this video. Give this guy a sub. His name's Levi Hildebrand, I think. Yeah, this is I love. This is amazing. Here's the video. Give the guy a like. Give the guy a sub. Yeah, collecting's been a thing forever. Yes, you know who used to do collecting? The village, the village mystic that would talk to trees. Okay? And you know what he would collect? Sticks.
Trees.
So that's the difference, all right? That's the difference with, yeah, or rocks. Yes, exactly. Sorry. Oh. Exactly, you forget crazy cat ladies? Yes, exactly. But think of the first word there. We already know. You ever collected Yu-Gi-Oh cards? That shit was peak? No, I didn't collect Yu-Gi-Oh. I collected Magic cards. I didn't even collect them. I just had them. You know what I have? You know what all my Magic cards are now? I've got plenty of money. You know what I do? I print them out. I use the proxies. I'm not gonna spend I'm not gonna order these cards and I get into all this. I just use the proxies. It's not a big deal. Like, I've been doing that ever since high school. People will get mad at me. I don't give a fuck. That's just the way it is. Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, and Magic. I mean, that's like what you do whenever you're a kid. Labubu figurine sells for over $150,000. A human-sized Labubu figurine. How's this human-sized?
500在现场报价4000、5000、22000，在网购价格。
It sold for 1.28 million yuan, which I believe is a record. Definitely a world record for a Labubu sculpture. But I think the price will go even higher in the future. Because it's truly a non-standard art piece.
Real estate. Come on.
Collectors would have thought long and hard before offering such a price for this work of art.
Yeah.
行家也是对这件作品也是考虑很久才会出这个价格。
I think pop art has been around for quite a long time and it has built a solid foundation, and its market cap is about the same as Sanrio now. I think it's about to surpass them. I think it should be able to retain its value if it keeps developing new products.
It's not.
And Ruby has always been there before, and not just recently. It's just that it became popular recently.
Where's the other one?
The first thing is that it has a little bit of playfulness and quirkiness, a little bit of rebelliousness.
Thank you.
It's kind of intellectual property image. Secondly, it's co-branded with major intellectual properties such as Mario and various countries.
I don't know, guys. We gotta do something about this. We gotta do something. It can become unpopular too. I know, man. Like, this is just, bro, 35? They're 35, the same age as I am.
Get boo-boos.
They're 35? They're 35. They're the same age I am.
What the fuck is wrong with you? It's a trend that's gonna die.
We gotta
Oopsie.
It's the Stanley. It's gonna die in like 6 months.
Yeah.
You know, it's everyone moves on to the next thing.
It's the millennials Beanie Baby.
Oh, fuck. And I technically am a millennial by 1 year. Kill me.
Exactly. 100%. Like, I don't.
Farewell.
I feel like I'm like Uncle Ruckus or something like that.
True.
I do.
Me too.
Because I hate my own people.
Now, but I would also say 80,000 hours of bad debt is something else to be concerned about.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of the total at the time.
You weren't. What?
So where the fuck do I need to go next? I went to Witches of Hemwick. After Witches of Hemwick.
Did you think it was?
Wait, how much?
Is something else to be. Technically, I'm a millennial by 1 year. Kill me now. But I would also say 80,000 hours of bad debt is
$80,000.
Something else to be concerned about.
Yeah, I wasn't aware
At 35?
of the total at the time.
You weren't. What did you think it was?
I was trusting her to take care of it, so.
Big mistake.
Trusting women. True.
You fucked up. You shouldn't have done that.
Not through here.
Are they getting rid of them?
No, I don't care about this.
You know, before I played Dark Souls 1, I'd heard so many people calling it one of, if not the, hardest Souls game. So imagine my surprise when it ended up being my quickest first playthrough out of any of the games. Point is, there are countless videos out there of people who have tried to determine which of the From Software games is the hardest. And while I was in the middle of trying to order them so I could make my own ranking video, I realized that I just couldn't do it. No matter how I look at it, all of these games have different aspects that make them both super hard and low-key super easy when you know what you're doing. So instead of trying to rank them, I'm going to be going over every game in the series and talking about what I think are the hardest, easiest, and in some cases, mixed aspects of each of them. Of course, it is just my opinion from my experience, so there
the closest you get into modern age, the harder the game is. Dark Souls 1 is the Demon Souls and Dark Souls 1 are the easiest, and la-di-da-di-da. Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Sekiro. I think Sekiro is the hardest. No, Sekiro is an exception.
Welcome. Very well, let me.
There are important details I'll probably forget to mention here and there, but I've played through all of these games a minimum of 7 times each, so I'd say I'm at least decently qualified to take on the subject. Also, I decided not to include anything involving glitches, since that's a little unfair to the games that can be easily annihilated using them. With that said, let's begin with the one that started it all. While Miyazaki's first game is generally not known for posing the most difficulty, it still has a couple uniquely challenging things going for it. And the first one I've gotta mention is the level design. In a lot of the more recent Souls games, while they do have well-made areas, most of the time it can be a complete joke to just ignore the enemies and run past everything if you know what you're doing. But in Demon Souls, it's a way different story. Sure, there are some levels here and there that you can kinda easily run through, but for the most part, this game is significantly more intent than the others on making sure the player has to slowly and methodically make their way through each section. There are lots of tight, cramped hallways where you're forced to fight enemies, locations with an abundance of locked doors and keys to search for, enemies that are hell-bent on making sure nothing gets past them, an infamously unfun swamp section where you walk like your pants are full of shit. You get the point. This game may not have the hardest bosses, but it tries its damnness to make sure you remember the areas. Speaking of which, the other main challenge that stands out to me me in Demon's Souls is the boss runbacks. Over time, FromSoft has noticeably gone out of their way to reduce how long it takes for players to make it back to a boss room after dying to it. But not in Demon's Souls. In this game, the only time you ever find checkpoints are after beating a boss, meaning you always have to make your way through an entire area just to reach the boss again. Granted, some of these areas do have shortcuts you can unlock, which significantly decrease how long the run takes, but some of them don't. And dying to a boss at the end of a super long, shortcutless run is without a doubt one of the most frustrating feelings in any Souls game. My next point is a bit niche, but I've got to briefly touch on the upgrade material system. Compared to the other FromSoft games, upgrading weapons in this one feels like such an unnecessarily tedious hassle. It's just one of those little things where whenever I go back to the game, I significantly underestimate how annoying it is to get my weapons where I want them. Now let's move on to the easier elements, and I hate to be predictable, but the main thing that comes to mind is the boss fights. To be clear, I don't have anything against the boss design philosophy of this game. It's kind of cool that they went for a style where each one has their own unique gimmick. And to be fair, there are a few standout challenges that genuinely hold their own after all this time, such as Alaunt and Flame Lurker. But after playing all the other games, the majority of the bosses in this one are embarrassingly easy in comparison. Lots of them have surprisingly small health bars, and the ones that are heavily reliant on gimmicks are usually pushovers once you
see you safe. Now, let's think up. Just tell me what piques your interest. I bid you farewell.
Okay.
Figured out the gimmick. But if you still feel like the game's too difficult, no sweat. You can always carry yourself with broken magic builds. Magic in Demon's Souls is ridiculous. Not because of its complexity, it's actually pretty simple compared to the other games, but because of just how quickly the damage numbers can get ludicrous. And combining the fact that you can deal stupid amounts of damage with its inherent ability to hit enemies from range makes the game significantly easier than going for pure melee. Now, you might be thinking, but some enemies are resistant to magic damage. Okay, burn them. Obviously, you could argue that using magic instantly makes any of these games fundamentally easier just because of the whole range thing, but Demon's Souls particularly stands out to me because of how instantly it starts to turn the game on its head. And the last major thing that makes this game easy in my opinion is its length. Aside from maybe Sekiro, this is the shortest Souls game. On my first playthrough, I was absolutely flabbergasted when I realized I had made it to the final area. Of course, being Miyazaki's first game, it wasn't given as much money and resources to back it up as we see nowadays, which led to it being a noticeably less lengthy product than the others. Which is fine, but when considering how much challenge a game poses, not lasting that long definitely makes it feel less intimidating. I'll also give a quick mention to Moongrass here. Unlike most Souls games, this one comes with a finite healing system. And while this can make it less convenient since you don't automatically refill when resting, it's also really easy to stock up large amounts of it, meaning you'll almost never have to worry about dying if you've got a sufficient health bar. Moving on to what I think is the one mixed aspect of Demon's Souls, World Tendency. For those of you who don't know, this game has a system called World Tendency, where defeating a boss in one of the Archstones shifts that Archstone closer to pure White Tendency, which generally makes the game a little easier. But every time you die while in human form, it makes the Archstone you're currently in move closer to pure Black Tendency, making the game harder. And since this game doesn't really go out of its way at all to tell you about this system, a lot of players will unknowingly make things harder on themselves. However, if you're aware of it, you can take advantage of the system and make things easier on yourself, which is why I consider this a mixed aspect. It has the potential to make the game more or less challenging depending on your knowledge of it. With Dark Souls 1, the first thing that comes to mind when thinking of what makes it difficult compared to the others has to be the open-ended nature of the game. Obviously, these days, Elden Ring exists, which is an actual open-world game, but that doesn't take away from the fact that DS1 really just lets you do whatever the hell you want, especially in the first half. And because of that, it's pretty common for first-time players to make some stupid-ass mistakes. You could go through the catacombs in the early game and make it all the way to the end of the Tomb of the Giants before getting the Lord Vessel. You could get cursed by the Basilisks and drop down to Blighttown before getting a Purging Stone. You could kill Andre, your only convenient blacksmith for the first half of the game. Point is, this is a game where it's very easy for the player to unintentionally make things a lot harder on themselves. Aside from the open-endedness, the one other aspect of this game that stands out to me in terms of challenge would be the level design. Compared to Demon's Souls, the areas in this game are definitely a bit less cramped and awkward to make your way through, but it more than makes up for that with the sheer amount of ledges and environmental hazards you deal with. If I were able to calculate how many times I've died from falling in the Souls games, Dark Souls 1 would have at least double the amount of all the others, except maybe Elden Ring. Plus, a lot of the levels come with unique gimmicks, such as skeletons that continuously respawn until you defeat their necromancer,
the horse just suddenly
a
dies
maze-like design that's
instantly.
specifically meant for you to get lost in, booby traps galore, giants chucking flaming boulders at you, persistent asshole snipers, or even just being pitch dark. Like its predecessor, DS1 goes out of its way to put a large emphasis on the levels and environments themselves being out to get you. Moving on to the easier side of things, I've gotta say, for a game that was originally popularized because of how infamously difficult it is, the amount of overpowered weapons you can find right at the start is insane. Think
like
about
this
it, this
Zweihander.
Y-hander, the Great Axe, the Claymore, the Uchigatana, the Grave Lord Greatsword, all of these weapons are obtainable basically at the beginning. For most of them, all you need to do is complete the tutorial, invest in a couple points, and bam, you're already carrying one of the most powerful tools in the entire game. To add to that, aside from Demon's Souls and Elden Ring, this is the main FromSoft game that can be potentially obliterated with magic. Miracles are still kinda whatever in this one, but if you heavily invest into sorcery or pyromancy, you'll be able to reach some pretty high damage numbers. If you want, you can even use both at once, since pyromancy requires 0 stat investment. The combination of overpowered early game weapons and magic being as reliable as it is means there's no shortage of ways to make this game significantly less intimidating. And the last thing I've gotta mention is the Master Key. This is basically just the cherry on top when discussing overpowered builds. If you pick this key as your starter gift, you literally have access to the entire first half of the game aside from the depths the moment you beat the tutorial, making that number of overpowered weapons I talked about multiply. Before moving on to DS2, I think there's one aspect of this game that would fall into the mixed category, and that's the boss fights. Originally, I was going to mention the bosses while talking about the easy stuff, because thinking back on the game, there are a lot of pushovers that come to mind. But to be fair, there are a decent chunk of fights in Dark Souls 1 that genuinely hold up in terms of challenge, assuming your build is within the range of reasonable. Ornstein and Smo, along with all the DLC bosses, have got some pretty demanding movesets that are comparable to the stuff FromSoft puts out in the modern day. So as a whole, this game's boss roster comes with high highs and low lows in terms of difficulty. Now for the black sheep of the series, Dark Souls 2. Real quick, I want to make it clear that I like this game. It has a lot of aspects that I really enjoy, but unfortunately a lot of my biggest issues with it are going to come out while discussing the difficulty, so there will be a little bit of roasting. Also, I should mention that I'm going off of the Scholar version. I'm sorry for any OG purists out there. As far as the difficult elements, the most standout one to me is that if you don't look up anything about this game before playing it, it could potentially be a nightmare. To an extent, that's admittedly also true for the rest of these games, but in Dark Souls 2 specifically, there are so many little things that could screw you over, such as not knowing to level up adaptability, or not knowing to save your fragrant branches of yore, since some statues are vital to clear if you want to complete the game. Personally, I severely regret not looking up any starter tips before I played this game for the first time. Because you know those two examples of potential problems I just mentioned? Both of them happened to me on my first playthrough. For the first good chunk of my experience, I had almost no iframes and was constantly looking up where to find more of those stupid ass branches. Plus, there were a lot of bits of common knowledge, such as how to get infinite life gems, that I was completely clueless on. Anyway, you get the point. If you play this game, do yourself a massive favor and look up a beginner guide or something. Next up, we've got to discuss one of the most easily predictable aspects of the entire video: the ganks. Yep, I know people in the comments are going to tell me that the DS2 gank complaint is overblown, but put simply, no. No, it's not. Every time I replay this game, I significantly underestimate how prevalent this issue will be. And then sure enough, I usually rack up a couple deaths from being surrounded. I guess there's really no elaboration necessary for this one. Just straight up, there are often way too many enemies crammed together. Especially in my favorite area, the Broom Tower. And you might be thinking, some of the other Souls games can also have situations where, you know, there's a pretty damn solid group of dudes clumped together. But my argument is, 1, none of the other games do it as consistently and egregiously as this one. And 2, this game's clunkier movement compared to the rest makes ganks so much shittier. Speaking of which, that's my next point, the game's clunky movement. Every once in a while you'll hear new Souls fans complain that Demon's Souls or Dark Souls 1 feel a bit slow and rigid by modern standards. But the reason why I've never even considered calling those games clunky is because it's night and day compared to this one. To be fair, there is a smidge of personal preference here. Some people just prefer slower combat to faster combat, and for the most part, Dark Souls 2's combat is at least functional.
No!
But at the same
Oh my
time, I'd
God.
definitely call it rough around the edges. You have to wait for a short pause after every attack, and your stamina feels non-existent, which makes this game feel a bit fundamentally harder to get the hang of since you need to account for the jank. Now for the easy stuff. In direct contrast to what I said earlier about not looking up tips being a detriment, if you do look up a guide and learn to take advantage of the game's systems, you can low-key make it your bitch. Talking enough to a certain merchant will give you easy access to an infinite supply of life gems, which instantly makes healing a non-issue since you'll rarely run out as long as you stock up, plus they're honestly way more convenient than this game's version of Estus, since you can use them while walking, and they're just noticeably faster. You'll damn near never want to touch your Estus flask again since it's so slow in comparison. And of course, Dark Souls 2 has this little addition that none of the other games have even considered dabbling in: bonfire ascetics. If you burn one of these at a bonfire, then it makes the area surrounding the bonfire move up one New Game Plus cycle. While it's a very simple concept, I'm sure you can imagine the ludicrous potential of it. The most classic strategy is to head to the Black Gulch, defeat the Rotten, and continue using bonfire ascetics to make him respawn and keep getting more souls every time you defeat him. After doing this a good few times, you'll be significantly over-leveled for where you're at in the game. So yeah, bonfire ascetics are broken, but aside from proper knowledge going in, the other aspect of this game that sticks out like a sore thumb in terms of ease would be the boss fights. As usual, there's the obligatory mention of a few outliers such as Dark Lurker, Fume Knight, and Sir Alone. But man, when looking at a list of them all together, I can't say that more than 25% of them come off as a genuine, serious challenge to me. Some of
Oh my god, that was more difficult than all of the bosses so far. Damn. I got the one-eyed iron helm. Use that. What would it fit with? Hold on, because this has fire resistance. I'm about to be fighting a fire boss. Let me just... Of course.
Them are absolute jokes, and almost all of the others are usually just unnoteworthy in the grand scheme. Plus, strafing goes a long way in this game. If Dark Souls 2 is the first Souls game you play, you might find yourself being fairly challenged by the boss fights. But after playing literally any of the other games aside from Demon's Souls, it just doesn't hold its own on this front. Though I will give a quick mention that DS2 is definitely the second most difficult when it comes to boss runbacks. Demon's Souls runs are a little more consistently long, but with stuff like Ludden and the Executioner's Chariot, this one's got a fair amount of lengthy ones. Now for Bloodborne. When thinking of what makes this game stand out in terms of difficulty, I think the most prominent aspect would have to be getting used to the aggressive flow of combat. Considering that there's now 7 of these games, the likelihood of this one being your first is not very high, especially since it's one of the 2 PlayStation exclusives. So when you load it up for the first time, there's a good chance that you'll struggle to adapt to the faster pace. You need to get used to dashing, which lets you dodge faster than rolling. You gotta learn to take advantage of the rally system, which lets you earn health back while also rewarding properly timed aggression, and you just need to be used to the fact that bosses can occasionally move at lightning speed. If you've already dabbled in some of the other FromSoft games, this one really throws you for a loop since most of the others teach you how to be patient, whereas this one highly rewards you for getting hits in as consistently as possible. And even if it's your first FromSoft game, it's still just a really fast-paced system that takes a fair amount of getting used to, which can mostly be seen in the next aspect, the boss fights. Yep, this is the first FromSoft title that turned boss fights into an actual cornerstone of its difficulty. Granted, they aren't as consistently challenging as some of the lineups in later games can get, but when comparing the average Bloodborne boss to the average Demon's Souls boss, no one can deny that there's a massive jump in complexity. Plus, you've got a few heavy hitters, such as Orphan of Kos and Lawrence. So yeah, none of the other games that came before this one can really compare to the highs of difficulty that it reaches with its most noteworthy battles. Now, more quickly than I'd anticipated, let's shift over to the easy side, starting with something pretty damn significant, the usefulness of finite items. Okay, obviously all of these games have a plethora of one-time use items you can find throughout them that will give you an advantage in some way or another. But with Bloodborne in particular, I think it's a little ridiculous just how much they can turn the game on its head. Beast Blood pellets are obviously the big standout. Popping one grants you a temporary period of time where whenever you hit an opponent, it racks up the beast meter, which allows you to deal more damage as it goes up. Granted, it also makes your defense worse, but with how quickly it lets you demolish the bosses, that barely even matters most of the time. You could also stack the pellets with fire paper or bolt paper, depending on which type of boss you're fighting. Some of them can also be distracted with pungent blood cocktails. Of course, the whole idea of depending on a finite resource to defeat your enemies is a bit risky, since every time you die, the items you used have now just become a waste. Which means this likely won't be a huge help for first-time players who will probably die a lot regardless. It's just one of those things where if you're already good at the game, the items serve to make it even more of a breeze. And the other big thing I have to admit is that you can really abuse the Chalice dungeons. First, let's get this out of the way. There's a certain dungeon out there where every time you load the area, you get a hefty chunk of blood echoes for free, making it a super efficient farm that will get you overpowered in no time. Obviously, this wasn't intended by the developers, but it's still possible without using glitches, so it technically still counts. Aside from that major example, there are also just a lot of convenient ways you can exploit the dungeons, such as finding late-game weapons the moment you're able to search Chalice glyphs. Alright, for the first time I've actually got multiple things to talk about in the mixed category, starting with Blood Vials. Similarly to Demon's Souls, this game comes with a finite healing system, but unlike Demon's Souls, I wouldn't consider the Blood Vials to be a purely easy factor, for 2 reasons. 1, you can only hold 20 at a time instead of as much as you want, and 2, the bosses in Bloodborne are
could hold as many as you want
hard, which means it's 10 times more likely in this game that you'll run into a scenario where you've died to a boss so many times is that you run out of blood vials and are forced to farm for more, which is honestly one of the most annoying feelings in any of these games, and easily one of my least favorite aspects of playing Bloodborne for the first time. However, despite the inconvenience it can cause new players, from a certain perspective, they do low-key make the game easier. If you're good enough to the point that you consistently don't run out of vials, that means you get to hold 20 at a time from the very start of the game. Compared to almost every other game in the series, that's kinda ridiculous. And if you ask me, once you get to the Forbidden Woods, I don't think running out of vials is ever an issue anymore. This area allows you to collect so many vials and get echoes from slaying so many damn enemies to the point that if a player is good enough to get to the woods in the first place by defeating Amelia, I see no reason why the woods wouldn't be a perfectly viable, massive farm for them. And the last subject to discuss would be counter damage. Lots of these games come with a bit of counter damage, but in Bloodborne, the difference is astronomical. If an enemy hits you in the middle of a dodge, you take double damage. So if they happen to hit you with an attack that's already powerful on its own, you can occasionally take some straight up disgusting hits. The reason why I have this in mixed is, of course, because your enemies also take counter damage. In reality, the difference it makes when you're getting hit feels a lot more noticeable, since your health bar naturally pales in comparison to the bosses. But over time, I'm sure there have been at least a handful of occasions where I may have not defeated a boss if it weren't for the bonus damage I got against them. On to Dark Souls 3. For the easier side, I feel like the most prominent aspect is how streamlined the game feels. Compared to stuff like Dark Souls 1 and 2, it's a lot less likely in DS3 that you'll run into a situation where you've accidentally made an enormous mistake that will negatively affect your playthrough for the next hour. Most of this is because of the world design. As I've said before, Dark Souls 3 has the most linear world in the series, meaning while there are some occasional diverging paths, the game can mostly be seen as one road from the beginning to the end. But the streamlined philosophy can also...
Oh my god, bro, I didn't see what he dropped. Let me just go on my VOD. What is it called? I've never beaten this guy. Like, usually I don't attack the NPCs. But since this is my 4th playthrough, I think Let me see. Whistle. Oh, the crocodile thing. Oh, it's dog shit. Who cares?
be seen in other places, such as making builds. Since this game doesn't lean into magic being overpowered like some of the others, most new players will probably just find a solid melee weapon and dump all of their non-health and stamina points into either strength or dex. So yeah, making your way through the map is pretty simple, and creating a viable build is even simpler, which makes this one of the most approachable Souls games for gamers who don't like when their actions can have major negative consequences. And quickly moving over to what makes the game hard, it's just the bosses. Like Bloodborne and the games that came after it, Dark Souls 3 puts a large emphasis of the game's quality and memorability on the spectacle and engaging movesets of the big cool boss fights, which simultaneously means that it puts a large emphasis on the fights being a challenge. When I think back on any time that I struggled or got stuck when playing this game for the first time, it's pretty much just the boss fights. Opponents like Nameless King, Midir, and Sister Frieda are still up there with some of the biggest challenges they've made. And weirdly enough, that's all I have to say about Dark Souls 3.
Okay, I feel kind of shameless for watching the videos, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm just playing the video game because I would have played it anyway. I'm streaming the video game because I would have played it anyway. The thing is like, let's talk about this. In my own opinion, I feel like, yeah, he's right about Dark Souls 3 being really streamlined. Like, you can just, like, literally just go forward a lot of times, or just go where the path leads you, and you can find where you need to go. Sometimes I get stuck, but then I just remember, oh, just remember that this is a video game and you can just go back and find where you were supposed to go, and a lot of times I literally do. You know, so just by doing that I find where I was supposed to go, and I just basically get good at finding where you're supposed to go. So yeah. And what he said about Bloodborne, it's completely true. Like, you can completely make the game obsolete with the consumables. Like, if you use wallpaper and beast pellets, you are just steamrolling the game. It's crazy what you're doing to the game. if you just use those items. But yeah. And also Dark Souls 1, he said that it's really open-ended. Yeah, that's one of the things that I liked about it too. But at the same time, I was also sometimes I was like, where the fuck am I supposed to go? Where is this? Well, what the fuck is this? In Dark Souls 2, I didn't really like, I literally didn't know where to go, and I was like, I really like, I do not care enough about this game to figure out where I'm supposed to go. So I'm just gonna dip, you know. I don't like that game. Even though I am sure it's an enjoyable game, but I just don't like it. I don't want to seem like the type of person that is like, oh, I'm just going with the flow. And I'm also not the person that wants to be like, oh, I'm so unique and so demure that I... demure is such a cringe word, but you know what I mean. I'm so different that I like this thing that nobody else likes, you know? Come on. If I had more poise, I would steamroll this game. I'm gonna get stuck in between them here. Okay, I need to do more damage to the candle guy. Oopsie. I fucked up. Oopsie. Hide away behind the tombstone. God, I hate that ability. Oopsie. We just hide behind this. There we go. This was easy as fuck, bro. Damn. See what happens whenever I get back into my groove and I learn back the video game. This is what happens. Steamrolling the video game. Where's the doll?
Welcome home. What is it? What? What? Tell me. Welcome. What is? Very well.
Let's go with skill because that's what I have. Wait, where was it? Forbidden Woods. Hold on. So through here. Straight to the right. No, more forward to the right. So forward and... Is it through here? I don't remember. Here. Forward. Here. No. Where was it, man? I think through here. Yeah, this is it. Or is it? So annoying. Get the fuck away from me. Okay. Nope. Where is it, bro? Why are you emoting? Oh my god. Here it is. Deserved. Okay, yeah, this is the PlayStation. Damn.
Ironic, since this is the FromSoft game I have the most hours on, but for whatever reason, there's nothing else about this game that stands out to me making it easier or harder. It's just a streamlined, relatively straightforward action RPG that stands on its own in terms of challenge by putting an emphasis on the bosses being satisfying obstacles to overcome. Ah, Sekiro, the weirdest From Software game to judge difficulty-wise. But I'll get to why that is in a bit. First, let's go over the hard elements, which begins with one of the easiest aspects to choose out of any in this video, the learning curve of the combat. If you ask me, the main reason why Sekiro is so commonly referred to as the definitive hardest Souls game is because just being able to effectively use the game's core systems is a lot more demanding than any of the others. Out of all the recent FromSoft titles, I'd say that on average, this is the one where enemies and bosses tend to be the fastest, which is fine because the game gives you methods to properly deal with them, such as the most common technique, deflecting, as well as some prosthetic tools to make things easier from time to time. Plus, you generally get quicker and more agile movement speed compared to the other games. The only problem is that getting the hang of how to properly deflect enemy attacks and utilize your speed is definitely going to take a fair amount of trial and error. It also doesn't help that two of the first mini-bosses you find in the game are the Chained Ogre and the Blazing Bull. Both of them can technically be deflected, but at the same time, they definitely caused a lot of first-time players to lean more towards dodging, which is exactly the opposite of the instinct you want to gain. But once you reach Genichiro, that's when things finally come together for most people. He does a fantastic job at teaching players how to deflect wild combos, as well as stay on top of him to not lose the momentum of his posture breaking. If you can beat him, then you've basically proven that you can beat the game. But before accomplishing that, you may have a rough time getting into the swing of things. Aside from the combat itself, I of course have to briefly mention the bosses. Sekiro is one of the newest From Software games, meaning the bosses have a really high standard for quality as well as difficulty. Just like the last two games, most of the hardest moments of your first playthrough will probably be from getting stuck on the boss fights. Now for what makes the game easy. In direct contrast to my point about it being the hardest when you're first learning it, I'd say that it becomes the easiest when you are familiar with it. it. Because of how perfectly fair 90% of the bosses are, once you get their movesets down, you never forget them. And when combined with the fact that Sekiro lets you double down on aggression as long as you can always deflect or evade, this is one of those games that I feel like I can fly through as if nothing even happened. Once you get those deflect timings, you turn into an unstoppable force of nature, which is so damn awesome because you really feel like you earned the right to become such a powerful shinobi. You were thrown into the lion's den when you first started, and if you manage to come out the other side, then your reward is being able to treat the game like it's not even a big deal after a couple playthroughs. Similarly to Dark Souls 3, another thing that makes this game easier than it could have been is the streamlined nature of it. Compared to DS3, I think Sekiro's world is definitely more difficult to navigate, but the main thing that simplifies it compared to the rest is obviously the fact that it isn't an RPG. Despite me arguing that Dark Souls 3 is a forgiving game that doesn't too heavily punish you for making mistakes, there are still a multitude of ways you can screw yourself over, such as putting all of your points from leveling into useless stats, making it harder for you to properly build important stuff like your health bar. But in Sekiro, there's none of that. You level up your strength by beating bosses, you level up your health by beating mini-bosses, and you can use your skill points and currency to buy new combat arts, inherent abilities, and prosthetic upgrades. That's it. I'd also say this is why a small percentage of gamers found Sekiro less daunting to get into than the others. You don't need to worry about whether you're picking the right damage types, weapons, or spells to invest in. There's nothing to it except learning the combat and trying to get better at it. Before transitioning to the final game, I'll also give a brief mention to Sekiro's length here. Like I said when talking about Demon's Souls, I think that game and this one are comparable in terms of how short they are. But the reason why it doesn't stick out to me as much in Sekiro is because of how hard the bosses are. In Demon's Souls, you're way less likely to hit a genuine wall from a hard boss, meaning Sekiro probably has a much longer average first playthrough time. Still though, it is noticeably shorter than the other ones. And to finish things off, it's time to talk about Elden Ring, a game that many people have written off as being way easier than the rest, while simultaneously causing
Elden Ring is the
best
to start with, in my opinion.
But now it's time for my take on its challenge. And the hardest thing about this game is that it has the most difficult bosses in the series, without a shadow of a doubt. I know some people still argue that like Ishin is the hardest From Software challenge, but no. He's a daunting foe for sure, but I think Malenia and Consort Radahn leave him in the dust.
Radahn,
though even if it weren't for the two obvious standouts, Elden Ring just hits so damn consistently with the complexity of its movesets. Almost every main fight in the DLC is within the realm of hardest Souls bosses. And the main game still has plenty of heavy hitters like Malekith, Mohg, and Radagon plus Elden Beast.
Yeah, but Malekith
the
has
difficulty
little
of a lot
health.
of these fights has been a source for a fair amount of controversy. And while I'd personally die on a hill defending the quality of almost every main boss in the game, there isn't a doubt in my mind that this lineup is the most challenging to date. To be clear, I'm only talking about Remembrance bosses. If I included all of the mini-bosses, then obviously the average difficulty per boss would be way lower. But speaking of those countless mini-bosses, the other major factor of this game's challenge would be the length. Elden Ring is significantly longer than all of the other games. Of course, the actual amount of content you have to finish in order to complete the game is surprisingly low, but realistically, 90% of players aren't going to be able to just rush through the mandatory fights right to the end because they'd be significantly under-leveled. Unless you're a speedrunner or really know what you're doing, you've got to interact with at least a damn good chunk of content in order to get yourself to the point that you can actually beat the main game, not to mention the DLC. However, the sheer amount of content is ironically also part of why people consider this game the easiest. Firstly, because of the idea that you can always fight something easier. Stuck on a tough boss? Don't worry about it. Just go explore and fight some mini-bosses to level up a few times so you can come back stronger. This whole philosophy is apparently the reason why a lot of newcomers found Elden Ring to be a softer introduction to the series compared to the other games. Since you aren't forced to immediately step up and tackle the actual significant battles, you can basically just spend as much time as you want getting small level ups here and there, to the point where the boss you were initially intimidated by is barely even a challenge anymore. And the other big way players can exploit the game's size is by using what they find in it to make broken builds. Because of how many different weapons, spells, and tools there are throughout this massive world, the variety of options for making busted builds is unrivaled by any other FromSoft game. You've got a multitude of completely new mechanics, such as spirit summons, allowing you to have an ally, and the power of crystal tears, which allow you to buff yourself even beyond the standard mechanic of talismans. But even without that stuff, there are so many weapons and spells you can invest in that will make things 10 times easier on yourself. Honestly, there are so many that I won't even try to make a list of examples. But in short, most of it comes down to certain armaments having overpowered innate skills that, in some way or another, make the game a little easier. Some spells and spell combos are also pretty ridiculous. Plus, with how
but I feel like
your
a lot of people will think I'm crazy for this, but I feel like Elden Ring also it has good replayability up until a point. After that point, it's tedious to replay it. Like, for example, I can replay Bloodborne 4 times, no problem. I can replay Elden Ring 4 times, no problem. But 8 times, I don't know. Elden Ring, because let's say you make a new character. It's so, like, sure, the second time it's nice to go through the world again. Third time, again through the world again. Fourth time, you're like, oh, you know, and if you're not going with New Game Plus, it's like finding the upgrade materials all over again, getting the bell bearings all over again. It's like, oh, it's just too much, you know? Like, it's incredible whenever you first play it. Secondly, whenever you play it. But the third time, it's like, oh, you know, it's like, oh, I really don't want, like, yeah, I know it's in that cave, but I really don't want to do that one. Oh, with this build, this boss is annoying. Like, let's say you want to make, like, magic build, and then you get to Renala, and you don't, like, you tickle her. You tickle her pussy, bro. It's like you don't even touch her, bro. You know? It's like, these are the small little problems that I have with this game, you know? That the replayability is not as high as the other Souls games. But yeah.
You can always change your mind and try using a different broken build. Whatever suits your taste, Elden Ring's got it. So those are my thoughts on the difficulty of the Souls games. At the end of the day, whichever one you find the most challenging comes down to personal preference. And for me personally, it's just too hard to say. I could potentially argue that Sekiro is the
Elden
easiest
Ring,
for
no
me
cheese,
since I'm so used to it,
hardest.
but I also find myself flying through Dark Souls 1 these days. As for which one's the hardest, I genuinely have no idea. But of course, that's just my opinion. So
I think it depends what is hard to you, annoyance, or actual difficulty of mechanics. Because if you find actual difficulty of mechanics, I feel like, again, Elden Ring or Sekiro. If you find annoyance, then go with Dark Souls 2. But yeah.
Feel free to tell me your thoughts on the difficulty of these games in the comments. I know I've never done this before, but let's set a like goal. If we can get this video to 7 likes, I will continue uploading content to YouTube. Anyway,
Damn.
That's all I got for now.
7
See
likes.
you next time.
Damn, bro, that's such a big number, bro. He should be more humble.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh my god!
And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing.
Yeah.
Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle
And
jeans.
she's not wearing shoes.
Would you mind leaving us alone? But if you refuse to leave, oh well.
I came too early in this area. Keep spamming that ability, see what happens.
This won't hurt a bit. I'll soon have you right as rain. Just die. Enough of you. Now stop that.
Calm down, woman. There it is. Skill issue, she didn't get impregnated by the old god. I came too early. Speaking of coming too early, how's your mom doing? Ooh. Ooh. Damn.
Hasbro Keen.
You see what I did there, right?
And by the way, the entire context of this is them talking about her boobs, by the way. That's what's being discussed with Jeans. Everybody that's not a retard, all right.
Speaking of
friend
retards,
that's too woke,
how are
because
you
those
doing?
Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ads
Yeah.
are weird, like fascist weird, like
Fascist
Nazi
weird.
propaganda.
The fat woman with the septum piercing that looks like a fucking Bloodborne boss, or like the guy from Demon Souls, bro, is saying this.
Welcome.
Bro, the stereotypes write themselves, bro. I'm telling you. And they exist for a reason.
Farewell, good.
Okay, what should be my next weapon after I use the saw spear? Oh no.
So weird.
Genes are passed down from parents to offspring, often determining traits like hair color, personality, and even eye color. My genes are blue.
Sydney Sweeney. Hasbro Keens.
Should we be surprised that a company whose name is literally American Eagle?
I love how like the idea is American Eagle is like somehow like fascist or bad or propaganda. Didn't America like fucking beat fascism in World War II? Didn't we get rid of that? What are we talking about here?
Yeah,
Oh
true.
my
It was a
God.
collected effort, though.
Look at our background.
Everybody.
It's Pokemon and like the ever.
It's like the Great War in Naruto, bro. Everybody joined the USSR. Everybody joined against Madara, bro. Madara and Obito. Everybody, bro. Everybody, it was like, yo, that's not good, not good. L's in the chat for segregation. L's in the chat for anti-Semitism.
Changing pride flag that adds a new color every single year. Oh my God.
Is making fascist propaganda like this? Probably not, but it's still really shocking. Like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white woman is talking about her good genes.
Yeah, because of her boobs.
She's not
obviously.
blonde, she's
and also
brunette.
she's attractive. And this is something that people might not want to hear, but it's true. A lot of people's appearance is genetic. Like, if you are ugly and you look weird, there are oftentimes genetic reasons for this. It's not because of, like, there are some people that are just fat or something like that. Oh, absolutely. But if people have a weird sized face, especially women with body proportions, these are primarily genetic.
The chin is the worst.
So
the chin and the lips are the worst.
Huge ass titties, they didn't do anything to earn that. And there's chicks that don't, and they didn't do anything to earn that either. And so the entire idea, that's just the way it is. And so fat fatigue, yeah.
The way life
America
goes.
has fat fatigue.
You will get
We're
over
sick of
it.
looking at people that are ugly and displeasing to look at, modeling clothes. It's insane. Why would anybody want this? And so, yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what this is. Someone said there are Nazi dog whistles in that ad. Well, of course, right? And that's what it is. Genetics have to do with it, but she works on herself in the gym, eating healthy. She shouldn't be ashamed of her hard work to look good.
Yeah, but she's an
bro,
actress.
Like, I'm telling you, genetics play a bigger role than you think.
Oh
They
yeah,
really do.
and Sydney Sweeney, if she didn't do anything, she would still have big boobs. She would still have a symmetrical face. She still has nice lips, a nice nose. Her eyes are okay. She doesn't have a crooked chin. I mean, a bit, but that's like my artist brain having like really good hand-eye coordination and judging angles. Like, her face is very proportional, you know? Especially to
genetics play a huge
normal
role
person.
in people's attractiveness, and some people are just born ugly, and that's it. Now they can improve their appearance, and they can do things to make things better and make it easier for themselves. But in a general sense, they're born ugly. That's it. And that too bad, right? Too fucking bad.
Like, that is Nazi propaganda. I also am thinking about like all of the young girls who are doing their back to school shopping right now at places like American Eagle, who are seeing ads like this.
Yeah. This is the person, by the way, who is ruining everything.
Oh, let me just show you. I know there's 0 people, but I want to show you who is talking. This one. I know I'm fat, bro, but damn. Damn.
Do you remember what I said? 2 groups of people? This is exactly what I mean.
Karens
this person
and
right
incels.
here is a bigger threat to America than ISIS, Iran, Hamas, Hezbollah, all put together. Okay? Like, this is the real enemy within, all right? It's true. I'm being serious about this. These people will ruin everything.
Also, American Eagle is mostly a brand that like teenagers to like young adults shop at, and so the fact that like this type of advertising is being used that feels so for the male gaze and so
it is for the male gaze. That's right. Because guys like looking
male
at hot
gaze.
girls.
Whenever somebody says male gaze, Nazi, fascist, and whatever, and in the situation of Nazi and fascist, if it's not the Discovery Channel or a National not Geographic, what is it, like those history channels, and it's like you see and it's a liberal white woman, you just immediately assume that they're a troglodyte. Okay, if they say Nazi, male gaze, what else, right-tard, left-tard, whatever, you just assume that they're a troglodyte.
With big boobs. That's right. That's correct. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Lilith. You've given us the insight that nobody else ever had. Wow. Did you guys know that? What a fucking surprise.
Perplexing mystery,
like,
this is.
I just don't like it. I don't like it even a little bit.
Boy. So we got to talk about the liberal outrage over Sydney Sweeney pushing what they're calling Nazi fascist eugenics and propaganda in an ad campaign with American Eagle outfits.
It sure seems like it worked.
Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Because she has great genes, this is Nazi fascist eugenic propaganda, right?
Of course.
Liberals are very upset over Sydney Sweeney having
It's not even liberals. It's just you'll see.
But
you'll see. You'll see.
American Eagle, their stock has enjoyed a lot of success since this ad campaign. really showing.
Wait, so are you telling me that they put out an ad with an attractive woman that had big boobs and it caused the number to go up? Has this ever happened before? Guys,
True, it's like if you brought a person from the Middle Ages, they could tell you that this is how you do it.
What? What do you mean you could just go and do that? What do you mean you could just go and put a video game out and then have a bunch of people play it and say that it's insanely good because
I mean, Stellar Blade is insanely good. He's bringing up Stellar Blade. Stellar Blade is like the video game, like how it plays. It's really good. No joke.
They're pissed because they can't fit into those jeans.
These liberals that
I can't fit into jeans too.
That's what
I'm
I want
fat
to
as
talk
fuck
about
too.
here today because that's what this is.
I'm sure they sell 4X.
Liberals are upset that
even then it's like a weird
advertising
fit.
is back, that companies are making money off of not being woke.
You see how much damage I do to it.
Tried to appeal to a majority of America.
Yeah, the majority. Imagine that. Wow. Wow.
Appeal to the majority of the country, not the fringe left, right?
Yeah, the thing is that, like, and this is the problem, is that we've had society that's been fucking held hostage by these hogs for like almost 10 years now.
So he just says
10
it.
years we've had to deal with hog oppression. I feel like I'm in fucking Animal Farm. Really? I'm.
Oh,
and,
that's
like,
such a
for 10
good
years,
reference.
I've been being sent to the glue factory, and I'm fucking tired of it. This is
Such
insane.
a good reference. Damn. Dude, would never in a million years think of that one. Thank you. I'm gonna remember it.
This meltdown is probably one of the funniest ones I've seen.
It's so embarrassing.
Long time. It's truly pathetic stuff. Take a look.
Sydney Sweeney has officially flown too close to the sun.
Yeah.
And nobody should ever be shooting her bail ever again. Never again. She's shown you who she is multiple times over now. Because see, everybody seems to have forgotten about what's under the rug. The fact that at her mother's 60th birthday party, they had spin-off hats made of Make America Great Again hats that said Make 60 Great Again. Not only...
What?
This is the kind of retard that tweets about me. Bro, this that same kind of retard that makes tweets about me, bro. Like, yeah. Oh my god.
True.
That her close family was at that party wearing Blue Lives Matter shirts.
Yeah.
Not only that, that party
So wait a minute. So she's wrong because her family members wore a shirt?
True. Thank you for
And
understanding.
She made a joke about the obviously most popular campaign slogan in like he's probably around my age in our entire lifetime. They made a joke about that, and somehow
They used it in Romania. They stole the fucking.
and that may seem like an insignificant
it's like they like made like some sort of slogan. I don't remember exactly, and even if I do remember it exactly, I can't translate it. But it's like they used it for like a kind of like make Romania great again, but in a different way. So that is not literally one-to-one, but it's clear that it's there. You know what I mean? It's clear.
Detail compared to the other two, right?
Yeah, it
but
is.
you couple the aesthetic of the clothing that people were wearing with the fact they actively chose a ranch as a venue.
And also, by the way, why do cops' lives not matter? I don't think there's a problem with saying Black Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter. Yeah,
What,
like,
Blue
I
Lives is
support
like
both of
cops?
them. Sorry, I guess this is going to be like a Ludwig perspective of mine. But yeah, I agree with both sides. I think that obviously police officers shouldn't treat minorities badly, and people obviously should care about police officers. Yeah, true. There's no problem with that.
Oh, it's kind of just blatantly saying racism to me. It's saying I'm a conservative piece of shit. That's what it's telling me. And people did the typical thing they do when a white person they like shows them that they are actually a conservative. They say, oh, well, that was just their family. You know what I'm saying? They can't control their family's views. Like, that doesn't say anything about their political tilt. You know what I'm saying? And then Sydney Sweeney came out with the statement, oh, you guys, I just wanted to share photos of my mother's birthday party, and you guys made it some insane political statement. No,
I mean, like, I'm sorry, bro. Conservative. Sydney Sweeney is a lady that basically is an incredible actress. She also directed some movies, and she's a very intelligent young lady. I mean, if that's like conservative to you and far right, I don't know, man. I feel like you're crazy, man. You're crazy and you're reaching, bro. It's outrageous, bro. I don't want to say she's self-made. I don't know. Maybe she got some help, but still, that doesn't undermine her skill in her industry, okay? And yeah, where the fuck is the lever, bro? Calm down. Okay, I'm mad now. Fuck you and your mama. I'm killing all of them. Oh my god. Calm down. Calm down, Batman.
No, yes, motherfucker. The thing is that these people lose all of their power once you stop giving a shit about them and start laughing at them. That's what you have to do. You have to laugh at these people and never take them seriously.
True.
Because if you give these people any level of power, any level of credibility, you listen to any of their grievances, it's like a fucking parasite that gets inside of you and it just infects more and more and more of you before it takes control and it starts running the ship itself and replacing people like Sydney Sweeney with hogs wearing bikinis that nobody wants to see. Except for other people that look like that. And even they don't want to see it. That's why they use filters on themselves whenever they go on dating apps.
True.
They don't even
Wearing
like
Make
themselves.
America Great Again hats and Blue Lives Matter shirts at a birthday party. You are making it political. That attire never needs to be worn at a birthday party.
Your phone is not broken. No, that was
Who decides
not
that?
AI. Yes, that was a real ad by.
Now, I'm not going to say... That's crazy though, right? I mean, like, we are
Bro, I'm gonna steal his jokes, bro. I'm Romanian,
no,
bro.
it's 3 out of 4. I've been 75% right on this one. That's crazy. What are the odds on that? Honestly, I'm surprised it's not higher.
American
Great. I'm not gonna say.
And I just want you guys to see that the majority of the time that the people that are losing their minds over this shit, it's just jealous, fat, ugly women. That's it.
True.
That's the whole thing. That's the entire problem. There's literally like, and I really mean this. There's not a greater social message. There's not anything. It's literally that simple. Brother, look at your chat. What are you crying about because they're making fun of her? Bro, you getting mad? You get mad? I don't give a fuck what people say. Like, unless it's against the rules. I want people to say whatever the fuck they want. I don't care. What do you think? I'm their dad? I don't give a fuck about that at all. Like, I'm gonna let y'all know. The only rules that I uphold
mad. Somebody
are the ones
typed.
that I feel like upholding and the ones that I have to uphold. I do not give a fuck. If you want to type something bad in my chat, I will ban you because I have to. But on a personal level, if it was up to me, I probably wouldn't. If you don't like what somebody's saying, respond back and have an have an argument, have a conversation.
Through fight.
I don't give a fuck.
Gladiators.
Yeah, I don't care. You crying? Oh, but what about the message in your chat of the guy that said base to the bad thing? I don't care. I cannot even begin to care. Do not give a shit.
Campaign featuring Sydney Sweeney basically boasting eugenics. A lot of people are upset because there's a lot of nuance to this as to why they should be upset. But at the end of the day,
I love how all these people are all thinking about it's because it's that she's white. It's because of her boobs. Like, this is very, very common that people will say that a girl has good genetics if she has big boobs, because they are primarily genetic. It's something that
they
you
are
either spawn
inherently genetic. Sure, I mean, from what I know, and if you take birth control, I think your breast tissue grows a little bit, like if you're a lady. I don't know if this is true, but it's not like you're gonna go from like flat chested to Sydney Sweeney, you know. It's not a big deal
with or not. It has nothing to do with her being white in the first place. Like, it's crazy.
This is not surprising. This is who they have always been.
And a nice looking face.
If you've
Yeah,
been
true.
following my page for a while, you know I believe 3 things.
Oh God, I believe 3 things. What are they? Let's hear them. Number 1.
What? Something
A
with
leopard can't
racism?
change its spots.
So she's against trans people?
True.
Huh?
So she hates trans
See, this
people.
is the kind of stupid logic. See, people like this, they love to say this. Yeah, caught? Yeah, oh, wow, there we go.
The North will always remember. And if
The North will always remember. Are you talking about the Civil War? The Civil...
Walks like a duck, talks
No,
like a duck,
always
its spots. The North will always remember, and if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, it's more than likely itself. And
you mean it's more than likely a duck?
no
I got
better
got by the
example
fucking
than
vampire.
American Eagle, right? Because I was a teen in the early 2000s, and I
Yeah, I bet.
remember places like American Eagle, Aeropostale, Abercrombie and Fitch. Yes, Abercrombie and Fitch was the worst out of all of the...
See, you know exactly what it is. You grew up fat, you were out of shape, you had body image problems, and you didn't like the fact that clothing companies put people with aspirational bodies and appearances on those ads. And so now you've tried to make it your life goal to go out and change the public narrative. And also, by the way, I want to say this is a very important thing about this. This is a completely self-serving behavior. They don't really care about this anyway. They don't give a shit about this. This is the same reason why the fat acceptance movement is 95% women. It's about psyoping people into thinking that the way that they live and the way that they look is attractive. They want everybody else's mind to change and to conform around them. So don't ever confuse yourself or trick yourself into thinking, oh, well, actually, they care about equal representation. No, they don't. She's being represented and you don't like it. That doesn't seem very equal at all.
Y2K brands when it came to like ostracizing people. But, you know, Aeropostale and American Eagle were not too far off, okay? They still carried things like a 000. They weren't as inclusive.
What's a 000? Let me ask the internet. What is a 000 in terms of clothing? A style designation for women's apparel that's smaller than the stand.
The stereotypes write themselves.
I see. I see. Okay. Right. Keep in mind. So look at what she's saying. She's saying that carrying a size is problematic. This is on her list of grievances. So these people don't want to be represented. They want to remove other people's representation. It's not enough for them that they have a 4X section.
True.
No, that's not enough. They have...
Okay. Martyr Logarius. Let's see. Can I beat him? Let's go. Martyr Logarius, bring your ass over here, boy. Oh my god. Let's go. Stop. Stop. Still got me. Still got me. I tried to parry him. Nice. Did he kill me? He killed me. I can definitely beat him. But I'm gonna come back in like how many hours? In like 5 maybe 5 or 4 hours. I'm gonna be back. So anyway, take care. Have a nice day.